Chapter 151. You haven't paid the 450,000 for your meal. How can you not pay? Do you think the hotel will let you go if you don't pay? He snorted coldly. I don't need to spend money to eat anywhere, how can I have an account? Did you make a mistake? David raised his eyebrows and said. You don't have to act stupid here, so many people are watching, and there are so many service staff in the hotel, do you want to eat the king's meal? Don't think that you feel very good just after you came out of prison. Now, this is the Su family's property, if you want to eat Bawang's meal here, you are making a big mistake. Langbing thought that David, relying on his identity as a prisoner of labor reform, wanted to eat the overlord meal. I don't eat Bawang meal, you can ask the hotel, do I need to pay for my meal? David said with a smile. Langbing looked at David with a puzzled face, and finally looked at the front desk and asked, this guy wants to eat Bawang's meal and won't pay, what are you going to do? Hello this gentleman, Mr. Chen doesn't need to spend money to eat here. The lady at the front desk said very politely. In a word, it was like five thunders hitting the top, and Langbing was stunned on the spot. Even the others were surprised. They couldn't understand why David could eat here without spending money. Why? Why doesn't he have to spend money? Langbing asked incredulously. I don't need to explain to you that for the 2.1 million you spent, excluding the 450,000 from Mr. Chen and the others, you still need to pay 1.65 million. Is it a credit card or a transfer? The lady at the front desk said humbly. This time, Langbing is completely stupid. He really can't understand, what is David's identity? How can he eat at the Regal Hotel without spending money? Zhang Miao and Wang Yutian also looked at David incredulously. They really wanted to see David through. You don't spend so much money on cheating women. You can give 1.65 million meals now. David looked at Langbing with a sneer, with disdain and contempt in his eyes. Feeling David's eyes coldly, he suddenly understood. You king cheat me. David doesn't need to spend money to eat here. Of course, he can order expensive wine and drink, but Langbing doesn't know, he even pretends to be stupid and compares with David, and this time he is trapped by David. It's just cheating on you, what can you do? David admitted without hesitation. From the beginning, he planned to pit this coldness. Sir, please pay the money. The front desk urged Langbing. Langbing was already trembling slightly with anger at this time. How can he have so much money now, but if he directly asks these people to contribute money, the character design he has worked so hard to manage will collapse. Swipe your card. The front desk took the card and quickly returned it and said, your card balance is not enough. Langbing pretended to take the card back and said, impossible, there is a payment of 2 million that is due today, haven't you called yet? At this time, everyone looked at Langbing, and their foreheads began to sweat. They were really afraid that Langbing would have no money, and finally let them put the money together. This is more than 1 million, and they will take more than 100,000 alone. Who has so much money? Brother Bing, what should I do then? Zhang Miao asked Langbing anxiously. Well, I didn't get the payment for the goods today. Everyone put the money together. When my payment arrives, I'll pay you back. Langbing turned his head and said to everyone. Yes, let's all make it together. Brother Bing is because the payment for the goods has not been received. I will ask Brother Bing to return it to everyone later. Zhang Miao also helped Langbing explain. Chapter 152. When everyone heard it, they all gasped, and the things they were worried about finally came. I only have $1,000 on me. I don't have any money, I haven't paid the bills yet. I have 10,000 on me, but that's not enough. Everyone can't make up 180,000, and it is too far behind to follow more than 1 million. At this time, David sat on the sofa in the lobby. Someone had prepared a fruit plate for him, and then he looked at Langbing in their eagerness while eating the fruit. If you don't have money, you can't leave here. The lady at the front desk froze her face, and then picked up the walkie-talkie. Attention from the security department, someone wants to eat Bawang's meal. In a word, they all startled Langbing, this is a rich hotel, and if you dare to eat a king's meal here, that is courting death. Soon, more than a dozen security guards came over with weapons aggressively, and surrounded them all. Where have these people seen this kind of battle? They have long been scared to death. All of them looked at Langbing, and now they can only count on Langbing. Looking at the security guard who was staring at him coldly, he was also very frightened, and his face changed color. Brother Bing, didn't you come here in a Mercedes-Benz S? You should put the car here first. Yes, you put the car here first, and then pay the bill when the payment arrives. We really have no money, unlike Brother Bing, you are a big boss, what is more than 1 million? Everyone paid attention, and at the same time touted Langbing. Langbing looked embarrassed at this time, and finally said helplessly, my car is rented, I can't press it here. When Langbing's words came out, everyone was stunned, even Zhang Miao looked at Langbing in disbelief. Just now David said that the cold car was rented, and none of them believed it, but now they have been slapped in the face. This time, everyone fell into a panic. If this Langbing is a pseudo-rich, then the money will finally be let them out. Since you can't take the money, don't blame us for being rude. The front desk saw that these people couldn't take the money, so he said, take all these people to the back and let the manager deal with them, don't influence them here. Business. Seeing this, more than a dozen security guards, armed with weapons, will go forward and arrest these people behind. This time, these people were frightened, and Lang Bing was also frightened and hurriedly said, I give money, I only give my own money, let me go. It has already arrived at this time, and Lang Bing will not continue to force it for the sake of face. Seeing that Lang Bing left them alone, everyone was dumbfounded. And that Zhang Miao hurriedly grabbed Lang Bing's hand. Brother Bing, you take the money for me too. Go away, where do I have so much money? Lang Bing threw off Zhang Miao's hand. Now he just wants to escape from here as soon as possible. If he is caught behind, he might even be beaten. This time, Zhang Miao was stunned and looked at Lang Bing in disbelief. She didn't expect Lang Bing to be such a person. You must settle all the money before you can leave. You only pay yourself and you cannot leave. The front desk refused to be cold. When Lang Bing heard it, he was stunned. It seemed that none of them would want to leave without spending more than 1 million. What are you pretending to be without money? It turns out to be a fake rich man. It's really bad, I don't have money to drink what the H3LL brandy. More than 1 million, where can I get it? Everyone cursed Lang Bing and Zhang Miao in indignation. If it wasn't for the two of them, how could things be like this? David, please talk to me, let me go first, and I'll make up the money later. At this time, after Wang Yutian saw David with a comfortable face, she walked over and said in a low voice. Chapter 153. No matter what David's status is, if he can make the Regal Hotel exempt from bills, his status must not be low. If he wants to leave, it seems that he can only ask David. When everyone saw this, they also surrounded David. Just say something nice for us, how can we say that we are all Hanan's classmates? We were all wrong just now. We were deceived by Lang Bing and that TCH Zhang Miao. Lang Bing is a sanctimonious hypocrite. It seems that his cheating of Hanan's money must be true. No wonder Han broke up with him. David, please help us. Everyone is begging for David. David got up, looked around at everyone, and then raised his mouth. Are you also worthy of being Hanan's classmates? It's really unfortunate that Han can have classmates like you. I can let you go with just one sentence, but I won't say that such an end is your retribution. David's words made everyone's faces burn hot, and they were all ashamed. Take it all down. Upon seeing this, the front desk said directly to the security guard. No, I don't want to go. Help. Woo. As soon as they were taken away, some people started to cry and howl, and they were scared to death, and some people were even scared to pee. Don't touch me, I am very familiar with your boss's daughter. If you dare to touch me, I will definitely let you fire. Lang Bing hurriedly shouted loudly. As soon as I heard Lang Bing's words, the security guard stopped, and the front desk was a little overwhelmed for a while. Lang Bing saw that these people were fooled by himself, and he was relieved immediately, and then said arrogantly, Your eldest Miss Sonia, we are very familiar, I originally had dinner today, I didn't want to find her for this trivial matter, but if you dare to touch me, I can make you all get out with a phone call, and now you let me go, and I will pretend that nothing happened. This time, the front desk looked at David, because they all knew the relationship between David and Sonia, but now Lang Bing said that they were familiar with Sonia, and they didn't know if it was true or not. David also frowned slightly. When he was about to ask Lang Bing, a voice suddenly came, Do you know Miss Su family? Immediately afterwards, a girl walked in slowly from the door. David looked and found that it was Sonia herself. Looking coldly at Sonia who came in, she nodded and said, Yes, and I am very familiar with your eldest Miss Su family and often eat together. After speaking coldly, Sonia giggled, and David couldn't help laughing. It turns out that this guy Lang Bing is nonsense, and David almost believed it just now. And the other staff of the hotel all laughed. Sonia was right in front of her, and she didn't even know her, yet she dared to keep saying that she was familiar with the eldest Miss Su family. Shabi, do you know who is standing in front of you? David asked Lang Bing with a mocking expression. When David asked this, Lang Bing groaned in his heart and felt a little bad. Sure enough, David then continued, The one in front of you is the eldest Miss Su family, do you know if you know me? The staff around couldn't stop laughing, and Lang Bing was embarrassed to find a crack to get in. It's so late, what are you doing at the hotel? David ignored the embarrassed Lang Bing, but asked Sonia. What do you say you can do? Didn't I hear that you came to the hotel, come to see you, you are accompanied by beautiful women, you don't know how good your life is. Sonia stared at David, with a smell of vinegar in her tone. Chapter 154. Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw Sonia and David like this, especially the cold one. He looked at David in disbelief. At this moment, he finally understood why this hotel gave David a free bill. David smiled lightly, Are you jealous? Don't be too affectionate, the ghosts are jealous. Sonia rolled her eyes and continued, My dad always talks about you and wants to ask you to have dinner at home. I've been busy these days, let's take 2 days. David actually shied away. All the boys present looked at David with envy, jealousy and hatred. The eldest Miss Su family asked to go to the house for dinner, but David actually refused. If this is to ask one of them, even if they lie on their stomachs, they will not hesitate. David turned down such an opportunity. HMPH, what's there to be busy with? The big deal will let you be the chairman of the company tomorrow, so you won't be so busy. Sonia was a little unhappy when she saw that David had rejected her. No, I don't have time to manage the company for you, David waved his hands again and again. When everyone heard David's words, they were hit hard again. Especially Lang Bing and those who just had dinner together, they all looked down on David at first, but now it seems that in front of David, they are like clowns. Tomorrow you have to go. My dad said that it seems that Ji-yu has dragged him to ask you out. Maybe I have something to do with you. Sonia said in an unquestionable tone. David heard that Ji-yu Wenchen was looking for him, probably because of the spirit pen, so he nodded and said, well then, I'll go there at noon tomorrow. It's almost. Sonia smiled slightly, and then looked at the cold people. Seeing Sonia looking here, everyone bowed their heads. In front of Sonia, they were like ants. Lock them all up, if you don't have enough money, none of them are allowed to leave. Soon, those Lang Bing people were driven to the back by the security guards and locked up. Many people have begun to regret it now. If they didn't ridicule Wang Hanhan in the first place, it might not have ended like this. After all, they followed Wang Hanhan with no injustice and no hatred, and it wasn't because of Lang Bing and Zhang Miao. But where in the world is there anyone who sells regret medicine? It's useless for them to regret now. These people all look at Lang Bing and Zhang Miao. If it wasn't for these two people, they wouldn't defend Wang Hanhan and David. Thinking of this, unable to control his emotions any longer, he violently beat Lang Bing and Zhang Miao. On the other side of David, Sonia originally wanted to send David home, but David did not agree. Sonia's luxury car was too eye-catching when it arrived in their community. Seeing David leaving in his Chang'an car, Sonia sighed helplessly. When he got home, David called Wang Hanhan to report that he was safe, while Wang Hanhan lived in Wu Yifan's house. She was afraid that Wu Yifan would have something to think about, so she accompanied her and comforted her. Seeing that his parents were already asleep, David sat cross-legged in his room and started to activate the heart concentrate art to absorb the surrounding spiritual energy. With the rapid operation of the heart conditioning art, the surrounding aura also began to move towards David's room. Unfortunately, there is too little aura here. The strength of the Dantian has not increased significantly, but the spiritual power in the Dantian can feel a little full. It seems that I still have to go to Pine Bay to practice. The spiritual energy here, I don't even think about breaking through in the year of the monkey. David felt the results of his one night, and felt that it was impossible to cultivate like this. Chapter 155. Xinyu Daily Chemical Company Sales Department. Kui Ziyuan was calling everyone in the sales department for a morning meeting, but David had not arrived yet. What happened to David? Why hasn't he arrived yet? Kui Ziyuan asked after a glance. This sentence was asked to Wang Hanhan. After all, only Wang Hanhan knew why David didn't arrive. But at this time, Wang Hanhan was also worried. She didn't understand why David didn't arrive. She was worried about whether something happened to David last night. She didn't tell her because she was worried. Brother David should be here soon. As Wang Hanhan spoke, he took out his mobile phone and prepared to call David to ask. Remember, David was late for work and he was fined Wu Bai. He just came to the company for a few days, but he was late. Kui Ziyuan said with a cold expression. Now that he has caught David's handle, of course Kui Ziyuan will not let it go. Manager Kui, shouldn't David bragged yesterday that he could take down the contract of Tianmei Daily Chemical, and he was too scared to come today? Wang Lanlin laughed and said loudly. It's possible. Kui Ziyuan nodded. Everyone also ridiculed David for a while, thinking that David hadn't arrived today because he was too scared to come because of his big talk yesterday. After all, Tianmei's contract is not so easy to sign, let alone David is a small salesman. Even if Kui Ziyuan accompanied Sun Xiaomeng many times, the contract still hasn't been won. Impossible, brother David will definitely come. Wang Hanhan retorted loudly. She believed that David would definitely come, and she would never shrink back because of Tianmei's daily chemical incident. What time is it now? I think he's too scared to come. Wang Lanlin smiled coldly. This David, whose eyes are higher than the top, has no other ability than bragging. Sun Xiaomeng also said that she hated David for a long time. Wang Hanhan was anxious and called David's number. But as soon as the phone was connected, I heard a ringing sound, and David had walked into the office. David practiced so much last night that he woke up too late in the morning. Brother David, you have come, I thought you had something to do. Seeing David coming, Wang Hanhan hurriedly greeted him. What can I do? It's just that I played too late last night and didn't get up. David smiled slightly. David, you are going to work now. You must have a sense of time. Now you are 10 minutes late. According to the company's regulations, you will be fined 500 yuan. Kui Ziyuan said loudly to David. David has only been on duty for a few days. I am afraid that he has not earned 500 yuan in wages. He will be fined 500 yuan for being late, which is indeed quite a lot. Manager Kui, is it a bit too much to punish Wu Bai for being late once? Besides, brother David is late for the first time, so he must be given a chance. Wang Hanhan pleads for David. The rules are the rules, there is nothing to talk about. Kui Ziyuan sneered. Just punish it, it doesn't matter. David didn't care. Seeing that David didn't care at all, this made Kui Ziyuan very angry, so he said to David, David, do you remember what you said yesterday? If you can't bring the contract of Tianmei Daily Chemical today, just get out of here. No problem. After David finished speaking, he sat directly at his workstation, ignoring Kui Ziyuan. Seeing David's attitude, Kui Ziyuan almost died of anger, but when he thought of David's immediate exit, Kui Ziyuan's mood was much calmer. Brother David, Wu Yifan told me yesterday that one of our classmates works in Tianmei Company, and now he seems to be an office director. I'll go and find him, maybe the chances are higher. Chapter 156. Don't worry about it, I can handle this myself. David didn't want Wang Hanhan to rush about this matter. He had already explained it to Lin Tianyu. It is estimated that Lin Tianyu has already arranged it already. Wang Hanhan didn't believe that David had the ability to sign the contract of Tianmei Company. The reason why David said this was because he didn't want to worry himself. Wang Hanhan didn't say anything, but silently picked up the phone and secretly called his classmate. After a while, Wang Hanhan left with her bag on her back. She didn't call David. She wanted to clear up the relationship first and let David come forward, which would be easier. After taking a taxi, Wang Hanhan came to the downstairs of Tianmei Company. The 10-story office building stands on the bustling streets of Horrendal. In the daily chemical industry, Tianmei is also a top company. When Wang Hanhan walked to the door, he was directly stopped by a security guard. What are you doing? Brother security, I'm here to find Director Li Jian. Wang Hanhan followed the security guard very politely. Our company has regulations, you need someone to pick you up before you can enter. The security guard blocked Wang Hanhan and said. Seeing this, Wang Hanhan could only take out his mobile phone and called his classmate Li Jian. After a while, a young man in a suit and leather shoes, his hair covered in hairspray, and wearing glasses came out. Li Jian. Wang Hanhan waved at Li Jian. Li Jian walked towards Wang Hanhan quickly. After seeing Li Jian, the security guard shouted respectfully, Director Li. This is my classmate, you can watch it later, she is coming to our company, don't stop her. Li Jian reprimanded the security guard. Li Jian is posing as a high-ranking official. Yes, yes, the security guard nodded again and again. Hanhan, come in with me. Li Jian took Wang Hanhan into the company. Bah, what? Looking at Li Jian's back, the security guard spat fiercely. Li Jian, you are doing well now. Wang Hanhan said with emotion. It's normal, Li Jian smiled slightly. Entering the office, Li Jian poured a cup of coffee for Wang Hanhan. Wang Hanhan glanced at the luxuriously decorated office, with a bit of envy in her eyes. She was also a classmate, and everyone has now taken the position of director, and she herself has just found a job. Did no one inform you at the class reunion last night? Wang Hanhan took the coffee and asked Li Jian. After all, they are all classmates, and they are still in the same city. Li Jian should not have been notified of yesterday's class reunion, not to mention that Li Jian is doing well now. Notice, I didn't go, I have a lot of things to do, how can I have so much free time, I heard that Lang Bing also went. There was a bit of disdain in Li Jian's eyes, and it could be seen that he looked down on these so-called classmates, so he didn't go to the class reunion. Hearing Li Jian mention Lang Bing, embarrassment flashed across Wang Hanan's face instantly. When he was at school, Li Jian had pursued her, but Lang Bing was very famous in the school at that time, and Wang Hanhan was attracted, so he did not agree to Li Jian's pursuit. From that time on, Li Jian regarded coldness as the enemy, and he was determined to be strong. After graduating with honors, he came to work in Tianmei Company. After working hard for a few years, he took the position of office director. Lang Bing has gone too, he is now Zhang Miao's boyfriend. Wang Hanhan explained. The reason why Wang Hanhan followed Li Jian's explanation was that he hoped that Li Jian would not mind what happened in school before. After all, Wang Hanhan now asks for him. You broke up? Li Jian asked lightly. Chapter 157. Yeah. Wang Hanhan nodded. That's cold, handsome, and rich. Why did you break up? Don't you just like how handsome and rich he is? Li Jian's tone began to contain a bit of sarcasm. Wang Hanhan didn't know what to say, but he could hear the schadenfreude in Li Jian's tone. Seeing Wang Hanhan like that, the smile on Li Jian's face became even stronger, and then he continued to ask Wang Hanhan, what's the matter with you coming to me? I'm currently a salesman in Xinyu Company, and I hope to sign a cooperation with you Tianmei, so I hope you can help. Wang Hanhan said. After listening to Wang Hanan's words, Li Jian suddenly laughed. Do you know how much our Tianmei contracts are? Each contract costs at least 10 million. Even a small salesperson like you would like to sign a cooperation agreement with our Tianmei. Isn't this a joke? I know that Tianmei's cooperation is difficult to discuss. Didn't I just come to you? You are the director of Tianmei Company, and you must have your own relationship. I hope you can help, and I will definitely not forget you after the event is completed. Wang Hanhan said eagerly. She must find a way to negotiate the contract so that David will not be fired, otherwise David will definitely be fired by that Kui Ziyuan. Ha ha ha, seeing Wang Hanan's pleading appearance, Li Jian laughed frantically, and the whole person seemed to be insane, which made Wang Hanan's eyes have a bit of fear. Wang Hanhan, are you begging me now? Do you remember when I pursued you, what did you say about me? At that time, there was only coldness in your eyes, and I was worse than shish. Tea in your eyes, but now he came to beg me. Li Jian is venting the anger that has been suppressed in his heart for many years. I can tell you the truth, now Tianmei's cooperation, I only need one sentence, our managers listen to me, but why should I help you? Wang Hanhan looked embarrassed. She used to be at school, she really didn't like Li Jian, and she ignored Li Jian, but who knows now she is asking for it. If it wasn't for David, Wang Hanhan really wanted to leave, she would not have come to this Li Jian. I used to be bad, I was blind. Wang Hanhan lowered her head, desperately belittling herself. As long as she can sign the contract, even if she is asked to kneel, Wang Hanhan will not hesitate. Seeing Wang Hanan's humble appearance, Li Jian's heart was greatly satisfied. He received a call from Wang Hanhan and called Wang Hanhan to the company just for this moment, to vent his emotions. Wang Hanhan, I'm not embarrassing you. For the sake of us being classmates and I liked you, you just need to promise to sleep with me, and I'll take you to see the manager to sign the contract right away. Li Jian's eyes flashed with lust, and the corners of his mouth were raised high. When Wang Hanhan heard this, she was stunned. She never expected that Li Jian would be such a request. Li Jian, are you still human? Wang Hanan's eyes were full of anger. Since you don't agree, there's nothing to say, you can go. Li Jian said with a cold smile. Wang Hanhan really wanted to slam the door and leave, but when he thought of David, Wang Hanhan didn't move. Li Jian, can you change your request and kowtow to you, even if you are a horse? Wang Hanhan looked at Li Jian pleadingly. I only have this one request. If you don't agree, then you won't have to talk. I'll give you 10 minutes to think about it. If the time passes, it's useless if you want to accompany me. After Li Jian finished speaking, he walked out of the office, leaving Wang Hanhan alone. Chapter 158. Li Jian had just walked out of the office when he met a man and a woman who was still wearing a bandage on his arm. These two people are Jordan and Delia, and they are also here to discuss cooperation. Tianmei Company, the Xiao family has already talked about it, basically it is called taking it down, and many middle-level people in Tianmei Company have eaten the benefits of the Xiao family. Seeing Jordan coming in person, Li Jian immediately ran over with a flattering expression, Mr. Xiao, I didn't expect you to come in person. In fact, Jordan, as the son of the Xiao family, certainly didn't have to come in person, but in order to humiliate David, he still rushed over with his injuries. Are the people from Xinyu Company here? Jordan asked Li Jian. Come on, it's in my office. Li Jian nodded. Here. Jordan's eyes flashed. Take me to see if there is a young man here. No, it's a girl, our classmate, who came to ask me for help. Li Jian said with a look of doubt. When he heard it was a girl, Jordan was stunned for a moment, frowning slightly. It shouldn't be, so why didn't David come? Could it be that he was afraid? Will this guy David know that he has no ability to negotiate cooperation at all, and he didn't dare to come because he was afraid of embarrassment? Delia was also a little puzzled. No, unless this guy quits his job, or he doesn't dare not listen to Xing Jun's words. Jordan shook his head and said. Li Jian listened to the two people talking, and the whole person was stunned. The Xiao family and the Su family have always been competitors. Why did Jordan suddenly care about the Su family today? Young Master Xiao, there's really only one girl here at Xinyu Company. She's my classmate. I left her in the office. Li Jian confirmed again. Director Li, your old classmate came to intercede, you won't let go of water, will you? Jordan looked at Li Jian and said. No, how is that possible? Tianmei must cooperate with the Xiao family. Since I took the Xiao family's money, I must do things for the Xiao family. Li Jian quickly waved his hand and said. That's good, in the future, the benefits will come from you. Jordan nodded. This time David didn't come, although Jordan was a little disappointed, but it was a good thing to win Tianmei's cooperation. But just when Jordan and Delia were about to go to the general manager's office on the roof to discuss cooperation, David's figure suddenly appeared at the door. It's just that David was stopped by the security guard and didn't let him in at all. After Jordan saw David, his eyes suddenly lit up, and he walked over with a sneer. Delia is also arrogant, holding Jordan's arm, her eyes are full of disdain. Hey, isn't this David? I heard that he is now a salesperson and was dumped by Miss Su. He even moved out of the villa. Jordan looked at David sarcastically and said. David looked at Jordan and Delia, and felt a little surprised. Although he knew about the cooperation of Tianmei Company and the Xiao family had been negotiating, he did not expect Jordan to come over. However, seeing that Jordan's arm was still bandaged, and Delia came with him, David immediately understood that today's so-called negotiation and cooperation may be aimed at him. Jordan should have known that he was coming back in advance. Come here and wait to humiliate yourself. The Su family and the Xiao family were originally competitors, but now Jordan actually knew in advance that he was here to discuss cooperation. That must be someone inside the company who notified Jordan in advance. Soon, a person flashed in David's mind, that is Xing Jun. Thinking of this, David raised his mouth slightly. Why, your arm is better. Do you want me to loosen your bones? When Jordan heard this, he was so frightened that he stepped back, but he knew David's strength. Chapter 159. David, you don't have that TCH like Sonia anymore. You're still a piece of shish. How dare you talk to Brother Lei like this? Delia reprimanded David. David's eyes narrowed slightly, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Is your mouth not brushing your teeth? It stinks. After speaking, David stepped forward and gave Delia a slap in the face. No one had time to react, and half of Delia's face was already red and swollen. Li Jian on the side was stunned when he saw that David dared to attack Delia. Who doesn't know that this Delia is Jordan's girlfriend, and David, who looks like an ordinary guy, dares to do something to Xiao Dagongzi's girlfriend? He just doesn't want to live. Boy, you dare to do something at the door of our company, it's just the opposite. Li Jian roared, security, arrest this kid for me. Soon, 2 security guards moved towards David. Li Jian didn't realize that after David beat Delia, Jordan didn't dare to speak. He was a small company director who dared to let David do it. David turned sideways, easily dodged the 2 security guards, then looked at Li Jian and said, I'm here from Xinyu Company to discuss cooperation. HMPH, our Tianmei company won't discuss cooperation with uneducated people. Besides, we have already decided to cooperate with the Xiao family, so you better get out. Li Jian snorted coldly. David frowned slightly. Are you the general manager of Tianmei Company? I'm not the manager, I'm the director of the office, but I've said everything about cooperation, you better get out. Li Jian said coldly. David, don't you just have a little bit of kung fu? Do you really think that no one can cure you? Now there is no Sonia to take care of you, let's see if I don't find someone to kill you. Jordan said with murderous intent in his eyes. David actually hit Delia in public, which is equivalent to hitting him in the face, making him very shameless. Don't kill him at once, torture him to death, it's better to kill his blind mother and father together. Delia was slapped by David, her heart was already burning with anger, she looked at David and said with gnashing teeth. When David heard that Delia actually mentioned his parents, his face suddenly became extremely gloomy, and the murderous aura on his body enveloped Delia in an instant. Delia suddenly felt cold all over, followed by a shake, so scared that she hurriedly took 2 steps back and hid behind Jordan. Jordan felt the murderous aura in David, and was so frightened that he didn't dare to speak out. And that Li Jian roared, security guard, blast him out for me, blast him away. Soon, 5 or 6 security guards came around. You, a small office director, dare to be the head of the company. After David finished speaking, he walked straight into the company. Seeing this, the security guard hurriedly shot at David. At the same time, in the top floor office of Tianmei Company, General Manager Gao Ren was walking back and forth like an ant on a hot pan. He is very nervous now. After receiving the notice from Lin Tianyu that David was coming to discuss cooperation, Gao Ren's heart couldn't calm down. At Ji Yu Wenchen's banquet, Gao Ren also attended, so he saw with his own eyes, Lin Tianyu and Ji Yu Wenchen's respectful attitude towards David, especially David's one-kick solution to Feng Sihai, left a deep impression on Gao Ren. Impression. All the people present at the time wanted to curry favor with David, and Gao Ren was one of them. However, others were quiet and never found a chance to contact David. This time, when he heard that David actually came to discuss cooperation, Gao Ren was nervous. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He was afraid that he would offend David because of his poor reception, but this time it was also an opportunity to make friends with David, so Gao Ren must seize it. Chapter 160. Xiao Li, hasn't the person from Xinyu Company to discuss cooperation yet? Gao Ren looked at the time and asked his secretary. I don't know, I'll go down and have a look, said the secretary. Remember, the people from Xinyu Company are here, be sure to invite them up. Gao Ren warned the secretary. Got it. The secretary hurried downstairs. But as soon as I walked to the lobby, I saw a lot of people gathered at the door, and several security guards were about to start around one person. Stop, what are you doing? What is it like making a fuss at the door of the company? Secretary Li angrily walked over. When Li Jian saw that the general manager's secretary was coming, he immediately waved his hand to let the security guards disperse, and then said with an apologetic smile, Secretary Li, this guy is making trouble in our company and beating people, so I called the security guard. Hit someone. Secretary Li looked at David and said to Li Jian, if you make trouble, hurry up and leave. We will talk about cooperation in a while, let people see what it looks like. Yes, I'll let him shoot him away. Li Jian nodded again and again, waved to the security guards on both sides, and the security guards surrounded him again. Secretary Lee. Jordan smiled at Secretary Lee and said hello. If you want to win the cooperation of Tianmei, all the managers in the company have to manage it. Secretary Lee just nodded slightly when he saw Jordan, and then asked Li Jian, have the people from Xinyu Company come yet? Remember to notify President Gao immediately when they arrive. After Secretary Lee finished speaking, Li Jian was stunned for a moment, then pointed to David and said, he is. When Secretary Lee heard this, his expression suddenly changed. This morning, Gao Ren was worried about this matter, but she had been watching it all the time. Although she didn't know what kind of big man came from Xinyu Company, she definitely couldn't be offended by seeing Gao Ren like that. Now Li Jian actually said that the person who was going to be kicked away by them was sent by Xinyu Company, and Secretary Lee suddenly felt a little stunned. Go away, get out of here. Seeing this, Secretary Lee hurriedly stepped forward and scolded the security guards away, and then looked at David with a smile on his face and said, Sir, I am the secretary of General Manager Gao. Our General Manager Gao is waiting in the office, please follow me. Come on. David nodded slightly and followed Secretary Lee upstairs. When passing by that Jordan, the corner of David's mouth raised slightly, with a bit of contempt in his eyes. Looking at David's back, Li Jian and Jordan were a little stunned, they didn't understand what was going on. Director Li, didn't you tell me that the cooperation between Tianmei and our Xiao family is a certainty? Why did Gao Ren call David up? Jordan questioned Li Jian. Yes, I have already agreed with President Gao. At that time, President Gao also agreed to choose the Xiao family to cooperate. I don't know what happened. Li Jian was also confused, and he couldn't understand what was going on. I'll go up and have a look. So many people in Tianmei Company have eaten my Xiao family's money. If you dare not cooperate with my Xiao family, I will let you all go around without food. After Jordan finished speaking, he walked upstairs with Delia, no one dared to stop him. Li Jian stood there with a look of panic. He took the most money from the Xiao family and was the one who worked hardest. If the cooperation is really not given to the Xiao family, wouldn't he be miserable? Thinking of this, Li Jian also followed quietly. Although he was not qualified to participate in the cooperation as an office director, it was still okay to eavesdrop on the outside. At this time, in the office on the roof, the moment Secretary Lee brought David into the office, when Gao Ren saw David, he was